Artur Beterbiev looks to set up a fight with Dmitry Bivol after beating Callum Smith, and pros are putting their predictions in. Beterbiev is really pushing for the fight to happen, and he hopes that it will propel him to the top. Beterbiev stated, "Yes, of course, I need a fourth belt. It would mean a lot to me. It's the top. It would mean in this category I've done work." After Artur's win over Callum, Tony Bellew thinks that someone should check Artur for substances, and he stated, "He's a beast and a fighter who's getting stronger as he gets older, which is hard to believe, but he is. Callum is as brave as anything. A soldier who went there and gave it everything. Faced that monster in his backyard. So frustrated, cause I wanna say more. Boxing. Obviously, we wanna see Bivol Beterbiev next. It's a great fight, but please, show me a fighter who's gotten stronger with age. He's 39 and he's getting more destructive. Physically, that's not usually possible, but he's doing it. Our great sport needs to be looked at like baseball." Bob Arum is definitely open to making the fight, and it looks as though he's already been talking to people about it. Bob stated, "It's not done yet, but we absolutely want to do it. I'll be talking to my friend, His Excellency, Saudi advisor Turki Al-Sheikh. I know he wants to do it, but Ramadan is coming, so about 3 months after the end of Ramadan, we'll be ready to fight Dmitry Bivol, probably in Riyadh. Even Bivol has talked about when and where the potential fight could happen, and Bivol stated, "I think that when we signed the contract to fight Lyndon Arthur, Saudi Arabia said it wanted to see my future fight with Beterbiev here. I believe it can happen. I have to win this fight to keep moving forward to my goal of becoming undisputed world champion." Beterbiev isn't happy with Bivol's tactics though, and he thinks that he's not such a good person.
He talk always like this. He last 5 years or 4 years, he tell for everyone like he gonna fight next fight with me. Now he says like I have fight like next 2 weeks, and he says like he already signed with me contract. How can he say sign contract with me? Because I have another fight.
Okay, so
he's a real boxer, you know.
yeah,
And I know nothing about fight, date, nothing. He already signed. How he that? He's not good guy.
According to Eddie Hearn, they've already signed for the fight, but he's waiting on Beterbiev at this point. Eddie stated, "We've signed for that fight. I signed an agreement with His Excellency to fight Lyndon Arthur and then to fight Artur Beterbiev, so we're locked in, so it's just down to Beterbiev now." Ideally, we planned for that fight in April, but with Ramadan, it's very difficult to do that. It's all on Saudi Arabia. They're the people who will make it happen. The good thing about their position in boxing is that it's not two promoters negotiating with each other. So it's not me and Bob Arum trying to do a deal for that fight. He comes to me and does a deal with Bivol, and then he has to do a deal with Beterbiev. That's it. So it's actually good for making fights because there are no promoters butting heads. So he'll do the deal and work the networks out. DAZN have had it. TNT have had it. He makes it happen in that respect. Eddie Hearn didn't seem too confident in Bivol after seeing Beterbiev's last fight, though. Eddie stated, "I always back our guys. I truly believed Callum Smith would win tonight, and I truly believed that Bivol would win. But seeing Beterbiev up close, I think he's improved a lot. I know he's getting older, and you hope that he's slowing down, but he's not. Dmitry Bivol has tremendous movement, but you've got to make a dent. It's very difficult to outbox Beterbiev over 12 rounds. On Sean Porter's show, it looks as though quite a few people are still on Bivol's side, though.
I think Beterbiev's great. I think he's a better boxer than people give him credit for. He's not just a knockout artist. But man, I think Bivol cooks him. I think Bivol absolutely
the whole time I'm
carves
watching.
his up.
Yeah, the whole
I think
time
he stops him. That's my hot
Oh,
take.
I don't got him
I think Bivol
stopping
stops him. Not like he knocks him out. I think the
TKO.
ref stops it, cuts or accumulation.
Shakur Stevenson thinks that Beterbiev will be too much for Bivol, though, and he stated, "Beterbiev is a killer for sure, but I'm still taking Bivol. Hit me when the fight is close. I'm taking all bets." George Groves even thinks that Beterbiev will win, but he believes that Bivol will be more of a challenge than Callum Smith was. George stated, "You have to have a really good jab to establish, create, and maintain that distance with Beterbiev. Beterbiev. If you don't have that jab that keeps him busy, honest, and at long range, then he will eventually just march you back. Every time Smith had his backs on the ropes, he was in severe danger. Bivol is much more comfortable boxing off the ropes, but I think Beterbiev's the favorite. Maybe there's a recency bias there. I probably go with Beterbiev win, but I wouldn't be confident on it. Demetrius Andrade thinks that Artur Beterbiev's power is ridiculous and scary.
I'm going with the Beterbiev kid.
The Terminator.
Yeah, well, I don't know what, like he kind of reminds me a little like he reminds me like of the old Arthur Abraham, I think it was, when just like he didn't do much and then pop, and it was just drop. Like, God, whatever he got, man, that's scary.
Lyndon Arthur has sparred Beterbiev before, but he still believes that Bivol is the better and smarter boxer in this matchup. Lyndon stated, "I was asked a while ago who I thought would win between Bivol and Beterbiev. I always thought that the better boxer would always beat the better fighter. I've sparred Beterbiev, and he's not just a brawler. He's not just a strong come-forward fighter. He's actually got a boxing brain, and he's good at what he does, but I do believe Bivol has got the better boxing ability and would come through if they ever fought." When Bivol broke down the fight between Beterbiev and Callum Smith, he highlighted some major skills that need to be watched out for when facing Beterbiev.
For me, Beterbiev is favorite. He has more experience and he's strong. Callum Smith is tall, but he doesn't use his height. He doesn't use it. He's letting come inside his opponents. And if we see the fight, close fight, Smith and Beterbiev, of course, Beterbiev is better on close distance. How I see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Lonnie B is another fighter who has sparred with Beterbiev, and he really doesn't think that Bivol would last in the ring with him. Lonnie stated, "They're talking about some Bivol will be a good fight. I don't think so. I think Bivol gets knocked out pretty fast too. I hear that, but here's my thing. Bivol looked uncomfortable in there with Joe Smith pressure. He's physically strong, and Artur ain't gonna slow down like Joe Smith did, I promise you. I don't see it going past 5. I think Artur knocks Bivol out pretty fast." Rolly Romero really likes the sound of this fight, and he hopes that it happens sooner than later.
Should be a good fight. Beterbiev a monster.
Okay, Bivol Beterbiev. Who, if that fight ever went down, eventually Bivol wants that fight.
That sounds like a really good fight. That fight needs to happen.
I'm sorry, what?
That's a good fight. Needs to happen.
Joe Smith Jr. knows what both fighters bring to the table, and he thinks that it would be an interesting match.
Well, when I caught him, it was at the right time. I caught him right at the end of the round, so he was able to make it through it. But, in my opinion, I felt Bivol was, the tougher fight for me. He's an all-around fighter, but both fighters are very skilled. Beterbiev, he's very accurate with his punches. He hits you where he wants to. But, I would be looking forward to seeing the two of them fight. But
Who would you fight?
And it's a tough fight. Anything could happen. Beterbiev's got that punch and skill. That accuracy, but Bivol, he's an all-around, fighter. So I like.
Teddy Atlas definitely thinks Bivol has his favorite, and even though he mentions that Beterbiev is definitely aging, he's not ruling him out completely.
Well, he's slowing down. No, like I said earlier, Ken, he's slowing down.
Am I seeing that correctly, that
he's
Bivol-
cutting up easier,
Yeah.
and he's 38 years old. He's had 300 amateur fights, as I said earlier. A lot of tough fights in the pros. Listen, he's he's aging. Nobody beats Father Time.
After the fight this weekend, I know you had Bivol with a slight advantage. After the fight against Yarde, do you have Bivol as a bigger favorite or closer to even after this latest outing from Beterbiev?
I never will rule out Beterbiev. He's got power.
Completely
he's got
agree.
character.
But if you had to make a
he's
line,
got pride. But yeah,
before and after.
Listen, I got Bivol. I got Bivol a solid favorite for me.
Yeah.
my line's going to be different than someone else's. But for me,
Yep.
I got him a solid favor that I'll go all the way out, like I always go all the way out on the limb. I mean, I'm not going to stop now at this point in my life. I think I think there's a good chance he stops him late in the fight, either by cuts or by just an endless barrage of punches where, you know, Beterbiev is he's not a defensive wizard, right? I think that's fair. Where there'll be a steady barrage of combinations where finally the referee would probably have to stop it, or his corner would have to stop it. I think there's a chance that the fight could go down that kind of road where that could be what you wind up seeing. If the fight ever happens.
According to Mauricio Sulaiman, if the fight were to happen, it wouldn't be sanctioned and would be without the belts on the line. Sulaiman stated, exactly, they would fight without the WBC belt. As of today, that is the position of the WBC about that fight. As long as there is no boxing in Ukraine, we will not accept boxing in Russia, at least not sanctioned by the WBC. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.